How's it going, internet? I'm back again this week, as I am every week, even though I am sick. So forgive my husky voice. But this week I wanted to do a video a little bit different. I just wanted to talk about the various filters in VCV Rack and some of my favorites, and just walk through the kind of the sound of them, the differences maybe between them, and yeah, just have a look because there's a lot of them. This isn't even all of them. This is just a sort of selection of ones that I like, and others that are, I guess, fairly prominent in one way or another. So I'll just walk you through what I've got going on here. I've got over here a single voice with an oscillator from synthesizers.com. It's a nice sounding oscillator, so I just wanted to use it. I've also got a sample and hold running, which you can see on the scope here. And I've got a basic LFO, just a sine wave, which you can also see on the scope here. And I also have another envelope, which is going into port 4 here. So I've got sample and hold in port 2, LFO in port 3, the audio from the oscillator in port 1. I do have a really simple ADSR on the output of the oscillator as well. Just move that over there. And that's just so we have, a simple saw wave sound, and all of these filters are being served or delivered this single oscillator into the input, and they're all going into these Venom patch bays just so it keeps things slightly neater, although as you can see it's not very neat. And all of that's going on up here into my mixer setup, which is just the standard mixer setup that I always use, which has got a clock, some effects going into the aux, compressor on the output, nothing too fancy. And on the output, on the left channel output, I've just got a scope so we can look at what the filter is doing to each of them as we walk through them. So without further ado, let's go through them. First, I've got the VCV VCF filter. I just wanted to start at the baseline of the filters with the VCV filter. It's just with it completely open. It's kind of a nice, slightly nice drive burn on it. We can increase that drive. You can see on the scope what it's doing. It's kind of wave shaping it a bit. Not as much as some of the other ones will, but we'll get to that. Let's bring the resonance up. Let's bring this drive back down. So it's a pretty gnarly, growly filter. I quite like it. I don't use it very often. I think that there are better ones, personally, but it does have a flavor all its own, which I do quite like. Let's bring this up. Bit of sample and hold. What's interesting about this as well, so I really drive the resonance, and I take the audio from the oscillator out, we still get sound because it's self-oscillating. So that's pretty cool. We also have an LFO we can look at, but we all know what an LFO sounds like. Let's let's make the LFO a bit slower perhaps. Also, I've got an ADSR, so lose a lot of volume at the top end of the resonance. Anyway, I'm just getting carried away now. Let's check out the next one, shall we? So here we have the Bog Audio VCF, another sort of stalwart of the VCV modules. The Bog Audio collection is just awesome. I use lots of their smaller modules all the time. In fact, it's probably my most used collection in a sense. I don't use the filter that much though, which is a little bit strange because it is pretty good. So let's have a listen. Let's bring that resonance up. The cool thing about this one is you've got the slope on a dial, so you can change the slope in real time. Which is just kind of unique. You don't really get that very often. I didn't touch on the VCF over here, that there's a high pass version of it as well. All of these, pretty much all of them, I think, are state variable in some way. Let's bring up this frequency modulation. Maybe we can modulate the slope. So it's a nice sounding filter. I mean, it's like, I think that the interesting thing about a lot of these is there is quite a bit of crossover. Some of them really stand out as being quite unique, and a lot of them are a bit samey. I think that both these first two are excellent, just standard filters. Let's listen to this high pass. Let's get rid of this frequency modulation, take the slope out. Do love a high pass filter. Something really, really nice about it. And interestingly, this one has a band reject as well, which you don't see that often. Anyway, great little filter. Let's move on to the next one, because we've got a lot to get through. I have the liquid filter here from Audible Instruments, which is a clone of the Mutable Instruments filter. I really love this filter. I use it a lot. Like, as the name implies, I do find it to be very liquidy. And I don't know, I love a squelchy filter. I feel like this one has a lot of really nice harmonics. We also have a low pass 2-pole, which is a little bit growlier. And we have a band pass. Really excellent subs there. My God, hectic subs. I love what's happening on the scope here as well. Sort of self-oscillating there. Great filter. Absolutely love it. Really simple, but just beautiful sounds. Let's move on. Down here I've got Ghis. I don't see people talk about Ghis modules that much. I really love them. I think they're great. I really love the design of them as well. Very sort of old school science equipment kind of vibe. I do think that this filter sounds really great as well. There is another filter from them, which is a stereo filter. It's very similar to this because this is actually a dual filter. You've got an in A and an in B. And the stereo filter is very similar in that regard, but you can sort of offset you basically adjust the width so that they're sort of operating at different times, different phase in the stereo field. And so that one's really great, but I just thought I would focus on this because I do think they sound pretty similar, and one of them is just like a stereo filter with stereo features. This one's more just a filter, but you do have a fade between both of them, so you can get some interesting stuff there. But let's have a listen to it. All right, so we've got an amp here, just currently on 0. You can take it to minus, which, you know, brings it down to nothing. Or you can drive it. And as you can see on the scope, kind of wavefolds it almost. Basically, we've got a square wave now. It's gone from a saw wave to a square wave. Let's bring the Q up. Yeah, I really like this filter. It's a great filter. Really wet. Really squelchy. Also, interestingly, it has 2 frequency modulation inputs. One of them is like bipolar down here, and the other one is unipolar. I'm going to bring this one down to the port 4, which is our ADSR, and let's have a listen to that. Just love that sound. It's so good. We've also got the bandpass. Let's put this on our sample and hold. Classic bandpass sample and hold sound. Anyway, having a bit of fun with it. So yeah, awesome filter, lots you can do with it, lots of modulation options, and the fact that you can blend between the 2 different filters, I think is interesting. Lots of applications there. So we're going to move on. Again, lots to get through. Over here, I've got the Surge XT filter. And this filter, basically everything from Surge is amazing, I think. This filter is similarly amazing, but part of that is because it just has so many different filter types. With this drop-down menu here, we've got, like, look at all these low-pass. So many models of low-pass filters. You've got OB filters, got K35, which I believe is the MS20. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it is. Vintage ladder, which I assume is like an MS20. Sorry. A Moog. Mini Moog. Sorry, head's a bit foggy. Remember, I am sick. Anyway, let's listen. Interesting thing as well is that outside of the filter types, you've also got multiple slopes for each one. So let's go to the K35. This one has different settings though. It's got saturation and you can see on its little scope here the different things it does. Oh my god, that's definitely an MS-20. Let's bring up some modulation. And interestingly, of course, we've got different models in high pass as It's really awesome. And it's still going. Let's bring that down. We've got a lot of other options here. Like, I think these OB ones are often quite good for pads. Let's bring this down here. We've also got a drive knob. So interestingly, we've also got comb filters. Which, amazing for sound design and other types of use cases. But I just wanted to quickly show as well these other ones at the bottom, like this cutoff warp. Let's just get rid of this modulation. Oh, still on the modulation. Let's get rid of that. This is kind of like a low pass gate, as you can see on the little scope. Let's bring up here so we can look at both scopes. And there are different... So really unique sounds. And if I go to the next one, it's a similar kind of vibe, like low pass gate kind of vibe. So really, multi-tripole. I've not even used this one before. Anyway, I would highly recommend checking out this Surge XT module. I mean, they're all free, the Surge modules, so you've got no excuse, but there's just so many options. It's a bit overwhelming almost. Really great sounds though. Love the Surge stuff. Let's move on to our next one, which is the first in our Volt series here. I didn't include all the Volt filters because there are quite a few. I just picked the ones which I guess use the most, probably. So let's have a listen. Let's bring up the drive a bit and the resonance. I really like Steiner Parker filters in general, probably because of that wet filter sound, sort of quacky, liquid sort of sound. That's brutal. Really great stuff. I love the Vault modules. I know I keep saying I love all these modules, but it's true. I mean, I picked them because I think they're all really great. Not really much to say here. There is this model section down here. Pretty sure the free version, in fact, let's just check real quick if I can type properly. Yeah, the free version doesn't have these models down here, which is a shame, but understandable. I think the Vault modules are worth buying anyway, just because they're great and you get so many of them for free, full featured. But let's have a listen to the different models. Sort of like different levels of aggression. This one's brutal. And it's still going. Great stuff. Absolutely love tangents. Let's just... Oh, not what I wanted to do. Let's just move on to the next one, which is the nitrous filter here, which is an acid filter, implying that it is a 303 filter. I think that that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. I don't think it sounds that much like a 303 personally, but I do like the way it sounds. I guess when you get really high up into the resonance, it does have that kind of 303 snarl. Let's bring up. Yeah, I take it back. It's pretty 303. Apologies, I'm getting on the noodle train. Not much to talk about here. You got to drive. I do find that the drive, if you push it too far on some of these Vault modules, I don't love the way it sounds. Sort of lose a lot of the detail of the filter, which I guess is just true when you saturate things. So whatever, it's neither here nor there. Great sounding filter though. Let's move on to the Salin key filter, the boomstick. I'm not like I'm very familiar with Salin key filters, but I often use the one that's available in UVI Falcon. Great piece of software. But I don't really know what the difference between, like, scientifically is between a Salin key and like a regular ladder, or like I'm not fully versed on the science of all of that. I'm not a electronics engineer, but I like the way Salin keys sound. So get the scope up in view. Really nice, interesting sound. They're kind of smoother, I would say. Less snarling, less aggressive, a bit smoother sounding filters. I'm sure somebody can inform me as to why that is. I think that boomstick is a little bit uninteresting, but not bad by any stretch. And of course, this is all. This is not a review. This is just my personal sort of feelings, gut reactions, and I have used most of these filters, if not all of them, at least once. So it's not my first time with them, but I guess I'm just giving you my honest response of them right now. So I've got this proc filter, dual filter, I believe it's called. Let's just check that. Yep, dual filter. You have a filter up the top, filter down the bottom. Extremely simple. You've got modulation inputs for both without any attenuation or anything like that. But you can do that externally, of course. One thing I think is cool about this is we can feed them into each other, which means we get them in serial. But for now, let's just look at one. Let's also bring this scope down here so we can continue with our detailed scientific analysis. I really like this filter. Like, it sounds good, but it's also just like really utilitarian, you know? And let's try the bandpass. So, great filter. This one is a paid module, although it does come with all of the other proc drum modules, which I've talked about in the past, because they are some of my favorite modules. But let's move on to our next one, which is the FZ filter from Squinky Labs. Quite like the Squinky stuff. Really high quality sounds, I would say. And this is no different. Really like the squelchy quality of this. Not really sure what this spread control does. I'm sure somebody can inform me. Maybe it's got something to do with these other settings. Got a 24 dB. Hey, there we go. I assume it's because we got parallel and parallel minus. So that's interesting. You kind of a vowel filter. Wow, that's interesting. I realize some of the audio might be extremely loud for some of these. Apologies for that. Hopefully none of it's clipping. I don't think it will be because I've got limiters in place. But it is pretty aggressive. Yeah, that's a really vowel filter sort of sound. Let's bring in the sample and hold. And let's... Interesting. That's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the virus filters from the Access virus. Maybe, I don't know, just that sort of digital squelch is it's giving me that vibe. But anyway, let's move on to our next one, which is this font filter, which is from Nano Modules. Nano Modules are pretty interesting. I haven't used them extensively. They do sound pretty good, like this filter. But I feel like it's a little bbit, I guess you could say this about any filter, but it's a little bit boring until you bring the resonance up. When you do, it's pretty great. if I take the audio out, just filters just playing itself. We've also got a band pass. Let's take that out. What if we bring port 4 in? Bring that up a bit. So look, it's a cool filter, pretty basic, really nice snarl on it. Let's move on though to this one, which is pretty different from all the other ones I've showed so far. It's called Twin Peaks, and I'm pretty sure it's just 2 bandpass filters. Well, I'm pretty sure. I'm certain that it is, because it's called Twin Peaks, and bandpass filters are just little peaks. So I'm not sure if they're working in series or parallel or what. But they're pretty cool. They sound really good. And you just don't get sounds like this with other filters usually. I guess unless you use multiple modules. Let's get that in there and that in there. We've also got 18 dB and 24 dB. So it's a pretty cool filter, really weird, honestly. Also got a bit of what sounds like cross modulation. So yeah, good filter. It's pretty new from Seller. Definitely recommend checking that out. Again, free, so no barrier to entry there. And then over here we have Juicy from Horror. This is a free module, but this is the paid version. I think they're the same. Let's just have a look. Oh. I think I might be thinking of other Horror modules. Anyway, regardless, this is more like a Moog style ladder filter, I believe. Let's bring the gain up a bit. And the resonance. The resonance gets really gnarly really quick. Also got a band pass. And a high pass. Let's bring it into 4 here. And back to low pass. I think it's a nice sounding filter. It's like a little bit thin. It's hard to explain. I think it lacks a little bit of the oomph of the other ones. You really got to drive it. But even then, it's kind of it's like the self-oscillation takes over a little bit too much. In my opinion, anyway. Let's move on to synthesizers.com's new filter, or the whole collection's new. And I really like these modules. Let's bring the frequency down first. I'm modulating it. Let's just... we've also got... Oh no, that's nothing. Let's bring the resonance up. I think these filters sound quite good. All of the modules from synthesizers.com. Interestingly, we have a high pass as well. And a band pass. And this is the interesting part, we've got a notch filter as well. Huh. If we bring the resonance down, it probably... Yeah. So if you bring the resonance up, it almost like nothing happens, really. You've got to have the resonance down. Then you kind of get like a phaser effect. We'll bring it into the... Yeah. So that's just an interesting feature that a lot of filters don't have often, is a notch. Yeah, it's a cool filter. I really like these Moog style filters. Yeah, so let's move on. Let's bring this over here. Unmute that. Second to last, we've got the XFX F35 from Blamsoft. I have used this one in videos before. It's pretty cool. It sounds really good, I think. Got a drive on it, which is pretty intense. I do find if you use the drive, and this is true of the other ones, or some of the other ones that I've talked about already, if you push the drive too much, you do lose some of the detail of the filter, but that's kind of to be expected. Down here, we've got different models. So we've got a Salin key. Let's bring the drive down a bit. We've got a state variable with, well, in fact, a lot of them are they're all state variable in some way, but yeah. Let's have a listen to this one. Ooh, that's nice. I do like a low numbered slope, like LP6. That's pretty nice. What else have we got here? Let's go to 12. We've also got, let's try this diode ladder. So I guess like the Surge filter module, you've got, it's like a sort of a toy box of filters. There's just so many options. But you could just use this as your filter, the only filter you use if you want it. And of course, down the bottom here, we've got comb filters. I will say I didn't include comb filters in this video just because I just didn't want it to go on for forever. And also, comb filters are very different from regular filters. And I love a comb filter, but it's just a different thing, you know? These sound really great though. Also got an FM. Which I'm not really sure what's going on there. An RM. That's awesome. And a bit crusher. Which is just interesting. Also got a mix knob here, which a lot of these filters don't have. In fact, most of them probably don't have. And I just think that that's kind of interesting. Definitely some use cases for that. It's also a stereo filter, which most of these are not. The surge filter is stereo also, so I didn't really mention before, but it is. I don't know. Stereo filters, not very common, so it's cool to have them. We've only got one more, so let's have a look at it real quick. We've got this filter, LP4, from the Slime Child collection. This is a great little filter, really simple, not really much to talk about. Let's get that filter modulation or frequency modulation off. Now, I believe this is a ladder filter. It's like maybe a little weak sounding. Of course, in modular and VCV, you can just beef things up however you like with other modules. So it's not like a big deal or anything. Let's just bring this cable opacity down. But I like its squelchiness and its kind of analog feel, but it just feels a little bit thin to my ears. And of course, if you increase the resonance and do some hectic modulation on it, you do get more of that low end kind of stabbing through with the modulation. But I just feel like at its base level, just lacks a little bit. Not heaps. It's still a good sounding filter. I would still totally use it. I just feel like when I use filters, I really want them to scream out their character to me, and I want them to sound full and rich. And if they don't have that sound immediately, I do get a little bit turned off sometimes and will reach for something else. But that said, it's still a nice sounding filter. And this whole video, I didn't do any really intense audio rate modulation on the filter. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I don't really have much to talk about. Maybe it's not the most interesting video this week, but my sick brain, this is all I could come up with. I also just like walking through filters. I might do the same thing with oscillators at some point. It's just a cool thing. Like, how does this filter sound? What's different about it? What's unique about it? All that sort of stuff. So I hope you got something out of it. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you so choose. And yeah, just let me know in the comments what you reckon. And I'll see you next time. Bye.